everybody. Welcome to Barsha, episode 27. Rob SCHWIMMER. I have my beautiful song for Rob SCHWIMMER. It's a special guest song for him, and he may remember it. Where do you go on Mondays when you want to have fun? Well, where can you go on Mondays when your day is done? Well, Fireside Chat is where it's at. Our guests are all the best. He'll glimmer, he'll shimmer. He's not Hans Zimmer. He's yours and mine. He's Rob SCHWIMMER. Help me in welcoming Rob SCHWIMMER. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I would love to welcome him in a way that is befitting who he is. Let me introduce you correctly, Rob SCHWIMMER. You have worked with Simon and Garfunkel, Wayne Shorter, Antonio Carlos Jobim, Bobby McFerrin, Willie Nelson, Esperanza Spalding, Stevie Wonder, the Orchestra of St. Luke's, Boston Pops, Mark Morris, Shaka Khan, Laurie Anderson, Bette Midler, the Everly Brothers. I mean, this is insane. Okay, can we please have applause? Now, not only is this man incredibly special, but what he does is he plays a multitude of instruments. So, Rob, before we show and talk to you just a little bit, I got to play them a little of what you do. I've never done this on my show. I've never even let a guest talk before I play something. But in this case, we got to do it. I'm going to play something that Rob SCHWIMMER has done. Here we go. Okay, come on. Come on. Okay, so Rob, now we know Rob plays the theremin like a genius. And when I told a couple of people Rob SCHWIMMER's going to be on playing the theremin, they go, theremin? Now, Rob,
yes.
Talk to us about why you wanted to play the theremin, besides the piano, which we'll show people later. Go.
Well, that's a great question, but I think with all such things as this, at least in my case, I was trying to impress a girl.
Some girl dared you to learn the theremin. No, be serious. You are fascinated with incremental intervals.
Yes, but it's a true story, though. I mean, I was trying to impress a girl who was doing these avant-garde plays. I saw this thing. I'd heard the sound, but I never saw anybody play it. I thought, well, I should be able to do that. I mean, I have good ears. I'll be able to pick it up in a minute, and this girl will be really impressed, and that she'll really like me. So I tracked this thing down, crawling across the desert mile after mile, through the Amazon to try and find a theremin, the Antarctic, everything. No theremins. You're looking, you can't find anything. They weren't making them at the time. So anyway, I finally found one. I finally get them to fix it up so it's playable. I get it back. Within 5 minutes, I am convinced the entire thing has to be a hoax. This thing is impossible. It's god awful. It's the worst thing you ever heard. I go, geez, I'm never going to get the girl at this rate. So anyway, I practiced for a long time. A few of my neighbors tried to kill me, but I came out. I came out of it okay, and
Did you get the girl?
yes.
Okay.
It's really undervalued how important a good vibrato is to a relationship.
That is beautifully said. Thank you, Charlotte. All right, now look, let's just say this is a man, okay, he doesn't just play the theremin. All those people I rattled off before, were you playing piano on those gigs like Simon and Garfunkel and Bobby McFerrin and all those? What were you playing?
All different things. With Simon and Garfunkel, I was playing Hammond organ, synths, theremin, auto harp, accordion. I was singing background. Now that was fun. Getting together close acoustically with Paul and Art and one other guy, going over vocals to Only Living Boy in New York. Or the Everly Brothers were on the tour, so the singing part was actually really fun. And I was Bobby McFerrin. I was playing with him at Carnegie Hall, playing mostly piano, some theremin, but mostly piano there.
Okay, go ahead, keep going. But I'm fascinated with not only, and listen, I'm going to shower you with accolades because I've witnessed this, and you're crying. It sounds like a woman's voice or something, some soprano. And can we talk about the teeny little movements what is a theremin? How does it work?
Okay, theremin was invented 100 years ago by a Russian guy whose name, strangely enough, is Theremin. He didn't name it the theremin. He was going to call it something like the ether, this, ether, or that. Ether being, in space, not either or.
Yes.
Like something you mine in outer space. So he invented this thing. He wasn't looking for it. It was 100 years ago. He made this thing. So, I mean, as freaky as it is today, could you imagine what it was like in 1920 to see this? I mean, so anyway, what it is there's two electromagnetic fields around the instrument. Your hand position. Oh, inside there's an oscillator, which is a large Central American cat. Now, as you're
He's Mr. Pun, everybody. He's Mr. Pun. Okay, go ahead.
As your right hand gets closer to the one rod, that will control the pitch. Other hand will control volume. But what's really weird is it gets louder as you lift away. I mean, we're used to like gas pedals, volume pedals. Everything is down is more. But they invented it before they knew the down was more. That is, hard calcified since then. So, I mean, you have to go anti-intuitively to, learn to play this thing. That's the really weird part at first, is lifting up to get it louder. Anyway,
By the way, in the comments before you go on, we have Chris Rossetti in the audience saying he's a theremin whisperer. Okay, go ahead, Rob.
Maybe I should whisper.
Yes, you should. Now we can't hear. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. This is
so, but it's this far. Let me get really close. It's when you're playing theremin, it's that far between being a genius and being an idiot.
That's true. But that's why you see you're going like this. What are you doing? Is there a special finger way? Do people do it different with one finger too? What are they doing?
Yeah, well, everybody plays a little differently. People
Right.
that play in tune. Let's just talk about that. It's really tiny. So, I mean, the way I do it is I kind of move my hand arm for big, for larger intervals, and then I kind of try and have these fingers kind of floating for fine tuning or smaller intervals. So this
God.
vibrato is kind of like the what are those little dogs in the back of the car that go like this?
Yeah,
Bobblehead.
those little toggle-headed dogs. That's exactly right.
A little bit of that for vibrato. It's a weird thing.
But your other hand is the articulation. Am I correct? Okay.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, I have to, now that you know a little of the theremin, I picked one more video. Clap your hands if you want to see this video because it's unbelievable. All right, tell me if you've ever heard When I Fall in Love done like this. Get ready. When I Fall in Love. Come on! What's happening? I can't keep playing 3-minute videos because I gotta talk to you. Okay, everyone's going crazy, and I want to tell you why. I just have specific questions. I never usually ask people about these kinds of things, but we have to talk music a little bit. You must have an ear to play the theremin, otherwise you're going to be shit. Am I right?
You're right.
Rob,
Oh, look, I mean, you can practice your tuchus off to but if you can't hear that you're wrong, how do you fix it?
right.
You know?
So, but you don't slide. You know where the point is, which means in space you also have to have not just an ear but an eye.
Oh, no, I.
You don't need an eye.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to have something to dot, so maybe you do. Um, so,
Okay, Mr. Pun. Okay, stop and tell me how you started with any kind of keyboard because everybody, it's not just the theremin. Wait till you hear what a genius pianist he is. Plus, he plays all these other instruments. What happened at what age when you said, Mom, can I have a piano? What happened as a child coming onto this planet?
uh, my brother, I have an older brother who's 4 years older than me, and he started taking piano lessons. And I realized when he left the room that I could just go in and play them back. So that kind of made me think, oh, maybe we have something here. And as I played and people started reacting, that reinforced my inclinations, shall we say. So it was just always easy. It kind of, it was,
It's a language.
which I'm better at than English. Dobry den technique.
Okay, we have questions from the audience coming up already and comments. Chris Rossetti says there's a theremin here in San Francisco at a hands-on museum for kids, and it's really cool. Okay, are you in some sort of a society? I read once you were in the theremin society, or does that made up of all these people on the planet that want to play the theremin or are good at the theremin?
Um, no, not everybody that wants to be a high jumper is good at it.
That's
I
true.
mean, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a high jumper. So, well, I was a founding member of something called the New York Theremin Society, and later I was co-director of that. And we used to do concerts. We do Joe's Pub, maybe 3-4 times a year, where we'd have different thereminists of differing abilities. Hopefully, I mean, there were some things that are occasionally terrible, and those would perhaps not make it to Joe's Pub. But, people are eating. So,
Okay, before I really want to keep interviewing you, but I please apologize to you in advance if I only played little snippets of the next videos because I'm really interested in hearing about all these things. So does someone now come to you? Because I noticed there's different brands of theremins, and then we're going to get to the Haken, is that how you say it? Haken Continuum? Yes. Do they come to you and say, we'd like you to endorse our product? Because I see you playing all different kinds of theremins.
yeah, I have like 8 or 9 of them. Just well, when I'm at home alone, I lie on my back with my arms and legs like a turtle on its back, and just kind of no, I don't really. Set up all the theremins. Okay, so I lie. Anyway,
Okay.
so
But
the main manufacturer is Moog, like Moog synthesizer, because that's how he got into making synthesizers. Was when he was in high school, he made a theremin, which got him going down the whole synthesizer line, which brought us to electronic music as we know it today with electronic keyboards.
right.
Um, so there are different. There are ones that I was endorsed for. I was a Moog artist for a while, especially when I was touring with Simon and Garfunkel, because I'd be playing in, big, like 100,000.
Arenas.
That's my landlady. 100,000 seaters and stuff like that. And so they sent me backups. And I learned to always travel with a backup. And then I switched to another thing. And I just recently started with a digital theremin, which you heard on When I Fall in Love, which is a new thing. There's not many of those on the planet right now.
So is it like an Oscar dress? Like a designer says, I want you to wear this on the red carpet. They say, we're going to give this to Rob Schwimmer and have him play at a certain place so people get to know our instrument?
Not necessarily. Sometimes I'm better known than the instrument maker, And I mean, theremin is not. Theremin, it's not a huge, like keyboards, guitars. So, and some of them I just see and I just go, this is really good. I want to play this, and I'll let people see it, and I'll buy it, and it's fine.
Okay, so people know, before we get to these other instruments and how you came to them, I just want them to see what a virtuoso pianist is. So I have a 45-second video of Rob's arrangement of When You Wish Upon a Star, where his left hand is playing the melody, and I don't know what his right hand is doing as a pianist. I've tried to figure this out many times.
I think the melody is alternating between the hands.
Okay. Get ready for 45 seconds of something you'll never forget. Get ready. All right. Are we ready? 45 seconds of something that you will never forget. When You Wish Upon a Star. What just happened?
Here's why I threw away all my blood pressure
look,
meds.
blood pressure med commercial on there. Okay, now look. You have to practice the piano to have that kind of technique. If you tell me I'm wrong and you naturally have that type of technique, I'm going to be very upset.
I want to tell you that.
Do you practice?
Yeah, look, this is the oldest I've ever been. So, what was when I was a youngster, I have to, kind of more pay attention to maintain. But there were times, especially when I was in my teen years, that I spent a lot of time just playing. I would call it practice, but I played a lot. So I don't always maintain as much as I should, but I feel it now more than when I was a kid. So yeah, I do.
And, the whole eclectic thing of you as a musician, I've always related to, because I noticed in the first Lotus Blossom we played, you had a Hendrix shirt on. And you wouldn't necessarily think of, this theremin player, everything with Hendrix. And Polygraph Lounge, can you tell us how Polygraph Lounge came about? Because they're like a staple at Joe's Pub. If you don't know what that is in New York City, tell us about Polygraph Lounge.
They're much lately, but Polygraph Lounge, I met Mark Stewart. Mark Stewart is the guitar player from Bang on a Can All-Stars. Also, Paul Simon. We did the Simon and Garfunkel tours together. We met at a local bar and drank together for a year and a half before we played a note together. Spent the whole time trying to make each other laugh. And somebody said, well, we're trying to do a thing with people that hang out at the bar, to do music at some little show. and we want you guys to do something together. And I didn't want to do a serious thing, and he didn't want to do a serious thing. So we figured, well, why don't we just, we've been trying to make each other laugh the whole time. So why don't we continue down that path of least resistance? Plus, that makes all our drinking tax deductible retroactive because we've been doing so. And then we just started playing and playing and playing more, and got written up in the New York Times and this and that, and then when we were out of and then Paul Simon, we got Paul Simon and Edie Brickell and Jeffrey Holder to sit in with us at Joe's Pub. Paul Simon, we hand out nose flutes to the audience and teach them how to play, and so we proposed that I came up with a lyric for the first line of Paul Simon singing 50 Ways to Play Your Nose Flute, in which he starts, it's all inside your nose, she said to me. And after that, really, who cares what he says? But so we got together. I realized, can I play piano while I'm...
Oh my God, you're going to play live for us? Please do it.
It's just a demonstration of what it was. So I realized... I can't say I'm too close, but that's Perry Mason.
Yes.
The problem is all inside your nose, she said to me. The problem is easy if you take it logically. There must be 50 ways to play your nose flute. 50 ways. So we did that with him. We did a thing with Edie Brickell in which we rewrote "Take It to the Limit" as sung from the point of view as an empress penguin.
Oh!
She's singing. I can't. I'm a friend. Wait. I'm a friend of the blue-footed booby, and that booby's a good friend to me. On the tundra, it makes me wonder about the land down under, where the boobies run free. Anyway, and then that...
So you're a comedian. You're like Victor Borga or something.
His wife, Lucretia, yeah. So then that turned into Ain't No Mountain. Take it to the limit, one more. Take it to the... how did that... Take it to the limit. Take it, so that morphed into that.
You are known for your mashups.
We did it before the word mashups was widely in use. I think there was another possible word for it. But yeah, we do that a lot, I mean...
Yeah, you want to make people laugh. Music should be fun. People should be smiling. They should be laughing. And that's why I find these instruments that you're gravitating towards so interesting, because they all have black and white keys. I mean, beyond the theremin. But now you're interested in incrementally sliding around on them. And this instrument, can you please tell us what I'm about to play a little bit of this Haken Continuum. Who plays this but you?
I do. I don't know what cut you're going to play, but okay.
Well, should I play Clapton or should I play Nowhere Man?
Your choice.
Okay, I'll play a little teeny bit of both so you can kind of see what it is when he's playing this instrument mellowly, and then I'm going to have him rock out on the instrument. Okay, so here is a few. I've never played this many videos. You can ask any of my viewers. Okay, here is a little bit of him playing Nowhere Man, the Beatles' Nowhere Man. Okay, I have to stop this for a minute because you're like from outer space or something. This is like crazy shit. Okay, Rob, you have to have an arranger's mind. You have to have, of course, a musician's mind. You have to have a playful mind. You have to have your personality comes through these odd instruments in the most beautiful way. Does anybody agree with me? I mean, God. Okay, now I know I'm not letting him talk because he's so unbelievable. And then I will talk about these crazy things, but I do want to play Clapton so you see what he's talking about. Because when you play this instrument with a single finger, okay, so that's what I'm saying. Here's a man grooving on a continuum. Am I crazy?
I'm hoping.
Okay, so look, here you are. You started on the piano. You played with a lot of people. When you played with, let's say, Esperanza Spalding, did she play bass and sing while you were? What were you playing with her? Piano?
I was in a recording studio with her, and I was playing Continuum, and the album won a Grammy.
Which album?
12 Little Spells. On that one, I just played on one track, but yeah.
Okay.
12 Little Spells.
All right. So now you're managed. I see on your website that you are managed. By the way, I have robschwimmer.com coming across the fortune cookie scroll. If anybody wants to click, please check out Rob. How long does it take you to master an instrument?
Depends upon the instrument. You had a question that you didn't say, but I heard it in the air about the continuum. So it's wiggly, right? It's a flat surface, a flat neoprene surface, which is super sensitive. First of all, you know how when somebody touches your skin, no matter how light they touch it, you can feel it. So this instrument, it starts picking you up. It picks up your intention about there. So you're not leaning in and muscling it. It's like touching a living thing that is feeling what you're doing. So, and it's made of neoprene, but it feels good to play. Now, when I moved from piano to theremin, one of the reasons that I did that was I was a guitar player, blues rock guitar player when I was in junior high school. And I missed being able to bend notes, vibrato, phrasing, like a singer, And I could do that again when I got on the theremin. But, what is gained and what is lost? What I lost was harmony, which as a piano player is huge. So all of a sudden to see this instrument, which has the phrasing capability of a theremin, combined with putting harmony back in one's life again, is hard to ignore for me. So that's kind of, when I saw it, I went, that's out of my dreams. That's like, yeah.
And I'm sure now really seriously, I want to be serious for a second. Thank you, Mom. You hear that? He just played exactly what the reaction was.
Yeah.
Do you have perfect pitch?
Pretty good.
Pretty good relative perfect pitch. Okay. I need to ask you, did you went out and buy this? You hear about it and you buy it? Or did they come to you and say, hey, you want to try this thing out?
Oh, I went out and bought it immediately. I had to go out and find it because they don't sell them. It's not sold in stores. I I had to get in touch with the company, find somebody near me, and I just bought it. I said, I can't live without this. I don't want to, it's a small company too. They don't they don't give stuff away. I mean,
Where
it's one guy, out of Champaign Urbana, and it is just such a beast. I mean, incredible, really.
where is it coming from in someone's brain to say, I want to make a pianistic like instrument, but I want it to have incremental. I mean, who's thinking like this? Is the guy's name Haken?
Yes, he's a genius. I mean, this guy is like serious genius guy. I mean, unbelievable. And he still speaks to me. I can't believe it. Um, so yeah, I
Does
mean,
he? Do you find, like, do you send him versions of Nowhere Man and things like that and say, hey, listen to this? Or, I mean, do you have a relationship with this guy?
absolutely. I speak to him very often. I actually did a whole series of playing tips for people that are getting started or what's it on this instrument. That's up on YouTube under playing the Haken Continuum under my name. So
Okay, everybody, please check out Rob Schwimmer instructing us how to play this instrument. That is
there's also
unbelievable.
play.
Wait, what did you say, Rob? Because when we cancel each other out when we're talking. Go ahead.
There's two playlists. One is more for players that own the instrument. If you're interested in that, take a look at that. But the other one is more concertizing material, which might be more fun if you're not actually sitting in front of one. But if you're curious, I mean, I'm sure there's stuff to look at on the.
Now, should I show people that little? Let me do one more video. I want to show people all the instruments you play, and what you actually do is you were doing my favorite, Vertigo by Alfred Hitchcock. You start with that on the theremin, and then you go through all the little instruments. It's kind of like a video where you compose the score to something, right? What was that?
The Metropolitan Museum approached me about doing a score for a silent film from their collection that was written in 1925, black and white. And so they asked me to do a score to it. So I just kind of pulled out this and that and the other thing and went to work. So at the end, I made a little demo of some of the different instruments.
So here's Rob talking a little bit about the instruments that he used to make the score of the Metropolitan Museum. You'll see a little bit of the silent movie too. See? And he says, "Oh, you said something so funny. You said the movie is scary, but it's in the daytime." So,
Yeah.
all right, here it is.
Old-fashioned sort of roller coaster ride through the movie musically. It's got a very virtuosic piano part, which is my main instrument. Also, the theremin, which I play a lot. The theremin was already invented before this movie was made. The theremin was invented in about 1920. So that's one of the oldest electronic instruments. With this, I did one of the most modern electronic instruments that I love, which is called the Haken Continuum. One of the other instruments is the claviola, which is a warm sounding for the domestic bliss. And you can see this, the sound actually comes out in different places. So as I go like this, you can actually hear the sound coming out in different positions. Anyway, one of the other instruments is a daxophone, in which you play on wood with a bow for the more monstrous sounds like this.
Oh my God.
Also, I used a waterphone,
I love
which
this.
they used a lot in Matrix and Star Trek movies with the whales. And last thing called an ondioline. So with that in mind,
Okay.
I'm hoping that it's fun and I hope you have a good time.
Okay, that's for a museum. Rob, okay, I promise I won't play any other videos. I promise. But I just, people have to understand what you do, and I'd never, ever be able to explain it. And so I just want to ask a couple more questions. And if anybody else has questions, please hit the plus sign and either write your question in the message thing or request to come up. Anybody can come up and make a comment or talk to Rob. So my question was, tell us, with all those instruments, how long, first of all, how did you make vibrato on that Hohner thing? What was it called?
The claviola.
Yeah, how did you, was the vibrato with your mouth?
Yeah, breath. It's
Okay.
just breath. Sometimes, what you would refer to as tremolo is perceived as vibrato, because maybe it varies the pitch just a little bit as you change your breath. You're not really bending anything, but just the amount of air, I think, is really what is doing that. For people that are not, when I say tremolo, I'm generally talking about differences in volume, like you would used a lot in like maybe surf guitar stuff, but it's a difference in volume rather than vibrato, which is a difference in pitch. But sometimes if you're blowing on something, the way the reed can go, the amount of air can change the pitch a little bit, although you're just changing, the how hard you're blowing, which
Yeah.
if you're a saxophonist, you would be doing it with your lip to make a vibrato as you bend a reed a little bit. But this, it's a solid mouthpiece, so it's just got to do with air and volume, I guess.
Okay, listen, we can analyze all this we want in technical terms, but let's face it, we're moved by what you're doing. Am I crazy, everybody? We're moved. And so you're making music in such a way that, yes, we can analyze it scientifically, but it's actually visceral, to me at least, And that's why I wanted to feature you in the show, too, because I usually say theremin to people, and they think of the Star Trek theme, da, 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 and they think, oh, God, what's he going to do? Well, he's going to play music that's going to move you on this seemingly scientific waveform-based instrument.
Well, look, when I'm analyzing, tremolo versus vibrato, honestly, none of us really cares about that much unless it gets you. I mean, that's the whole point. It's just another way to make it reach out and touch somebody, the way music should. I mean, all this technical stuff don't mean anything if it doesn't, touch somebody. So I mean, but sometimes you have to go through some technical hoops in order to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, and I'm saying piano's an analog instrument, and these instruments are not analog.
Well, actually, the theremin might be.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And the claviola certainly is.
Well, yeah. And I thought it said Honer. I was laughing, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, that Honer thing, I got to, that was my big solo with Simon and Garfunkel and Feeling Groovy. I had a wireless and I got to, run around on stage playing that. And it was, like my Pipes of Pan moment. And anyway.
Did you do anything on Broadway with Cape Man?
No, no.
Okay.
No, I just did the Simon and Garfunkel tours. Not just. I don't mean to say just. I did a bunch of Simon and Gar. I think we did 91. I did 91 shows with them.
Wow.
I mean, full big shows. And then I did a week with Paul at BAM, but never did Cape Man.
Okay, I need to know who your idols were growing up, or did you? You're probably so eclectic that you just were in your own head. But tell me, who did you listen to as a kid?
Well, thank you. What you wind up listening to first is what your parents are playing. So while those didn't necessarily go on to be my big things, I grew up with mostly hearing, folk music and classical and blues. That's what my parents were into, folk music, like the Weavers and Pete Seeger and Woody Guthrie. And then they'd play, Beethoven stuff, and then they'd play, Sonny Terry or Leadbelly. So that before the Beatles came out, they were my main things that I knew. But then the Beatles came out and everything changed. Well, didn't it?
Yes, and when we used to have our little cabaret show, the dear departed best friend of us, Mary Claire Heron, we used to all intersect at the Beatles. That's where we all intersected, no matter what. And you did there's a gorgeous version on the piano, I think, that you do of Yesterday. Is that on the piano? Yes. I want to play another video, but I can't. I really want to talk to you. Rob.
The Beatles are really the distributor cap of everything in my life in a way. They're kind of central and everything just kind of went out from that, so. But, of course, other things, later, you get into jazz, you get into this, you get into that. But Beatles were first and foremost.
Yeah, they were. Chris Rossetti, I see, has a thought bubble above his head. Chris, do you want to come up and ask anything or say anything? I'll invite you if you want to come up. Or Martha Barsha, would you like to come up? That's my mother. And my mother actually saw Rob play live. So if there she is. Mom, what do you want to say to Rob, or do you want to come to camera?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello, Rob. I saw a young man play the piano 25 years ago, and I didn't know that this was a genius. And the genius does not even fall in a category of you. And then when you played from the movie Minute to Zero, that was a movie, when you played When I Fall in Love, it was my first lover's song between he and I, and it just sent chills down my spine. That was so beautiful. And then I thought, well, maybe he should insure his hands. But now I'm beginning to think we ought to clone you.
Send in the clones.
Yes. Mother.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is so nice. Thank you.
It was so nice hearing from you and seeing you. And, you would, if I didn't see you today, you'd still be that young, handsome young kid that I saw 25 years ago. And now you put yourself in a different category, and I love it.
Okay.
And thank you for giving us the chance to see you and to see all these instruments that are vibration. That's what they are, I guess. And it's just, I remember seeing when they have champagne glasses and you rub your finger around them, that vibration. And this took it to another climax. It was just unbelievable. Thank you again.
Love you, Mom. I'm putting you back in the audience. Thank you so much. That's Martha Barsha. Go ahead, Rob. What do you have to respond to that?
Thank you. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say other than what happened to you. No, but things were going so well when suddenly, yeah, the three of us used to play. Well, I mean, I only sat in. It was really Deborah and Mary's thing, but I got lucky enough to sit in a couple of times, and it was great fun, and I was very happy to be there.
Because I broke my finger and I couldn't play Jersey Boys for like 8 weeks. So we had a cabaret show and Rob sat right in with us. He didn't even need to rehearse. Now listen, in these last few minutes, I just want to ask you, you seem to enjoy playing Madison Square Garden and Joe's Pub the equal amount. You're just joyous when you play. Do you feel like you not only arrange but you compose, right? As a matter of fact, you wrote a song dedicated to Mary, right?
Well, I actually on an album I did a version of Lost in the Stars that was not of course that's Kurt Weill.
But that version is so. Please, everybody, please listen to Rob Schwimmer, "Lost in the Stars." It is so beautiful. I remember I cried when I listened to it. Anyway, that's that. But don't you feel that, like when you played in Madison Square Garden? First of all, that's on your bio. So who did you play with in Madison Square Garden?
I don't know. I've played there a bunch of times. The last time I played there was with Simon and Garfunkel, probably.
Right. And so then we see you in Joe's Pub, which people that don't know and don't live in New York City, it's this really cool place where a lot of eclectic people play. And Rob, you just saw Vertigo played there. It's a place where people go. And could you tell us do you have any concerts coming up? What are you doing now?
Well, actually, since the pandemic, things have, slowed down a little bit for me, and such is life, to be a musician nowadays, well, probably forever, you have to have a little bit of the soldier in you because, things go up and they're great, and then it doesn't really necessarily follow a logical progression. Actually, the next thing I'm going to be playing out, I mean, I'm doing things with, I have some other things coming up, but the next thing that I'm kind of looking forward to is I'm going to be the theremin soloist with the El Paso Symphony Orchestra, doing Vertigo and Spellbound, and which should be great fun, especially, in Texas, being that it's an open carry theremin state, So
Oh God, Rob, I missed you.
if there's a thereminist that goes to the dark side, you have your theremin with you and you can correct him or her.
You are so funny. So okay, you don't teach any of these instruments, do you?
I have.
Because I tried the theremin once. You had to stand behind me and make and manipulate my hands because I don't know what subtlety is. Okay.
No. Come on.
You really did. I couldn't, if I moved this much, it changed. That's a big movement.
That's yes. That's
so
hitting the ejector seat button.
Right. There requires a stillness. There requires some sort of incredible
sniper background, we could just stay unmoving for a long time.
It's a meditative state, I believe.
It's kind of meditative panic. Because you have to be so still, yet the opportunities for messing up are huge.
Huge. Yeah. Well, I want to just tell you, it means so much to me that you came on today because it's been because of the pandemic, because of other things. I don't even remember the last time I saw you. It might have been at St. Anne's Warehouse with that psycho opera I was conducting.
Yeah, that was fun.
I know.
I watched. I posted a link of you doing your conducting the choir on Letterman with under my Facebook post about this, just in case to remind.
Well, we want to just say, please, everybody, for this incredible person and what he does on this planet musically, can we have just incredible applause? I mean it. Rob Schwimmer, you are so amazing. I wanted to thank you for coming here, talking to us, and I'm going to bring my listen to my weight bot. Just taking you out here. Oh, Rob, did you want to say one more thing? Oh, okay. Before I put my weight bot up, go ahead. Tell us one more thing.
I want to give you an idea about my life in one sentence. So the gig after playing theremin with the El Paso Symphony Orchestra is doing a Finnish Yiddish concert. I'm going to Finland to do Yiddish music that it has Finnish roots. I think you just take a Yiddish word and add ONNEN at the end of everyone, and everything is fine.
And on that note, now I will bring my little weight pot up. We love you, Rob Schwimmer. You have given us such beautiful music today, and I thank you so